friends, welcome back to Beer and Beauty. It's Kasha. Today's libation of the day is something that I purchased for a special reason, but it is now the only wine left I have in the house. This is the San Antonio Winery Cardinal American Sweet Red. Looks like this. It looks really regal and royal kind of packaging on here. But I originally bought this wine because I planned, like last week in LA, there was lots of really cold, rainy weather, and I had planned on making like mulled wine. So I thought a sweet red would be nice with that, but it seems like the weather's gonna be really lovely for the foreseeable future, so I'm just gonna drink it as is. Let's give it a taste. Cheers. It tastes like juice, honestly. It's so sweet, but it's yummy. I'm usually more into like dry wines, but this one's really just, it tastes like grape juice. It tastes like cranberry grape juice, and it's very sweet and delicious. I can barely taste like the alcohol in it. It would be lovely in a mulled wine. Maybe I might even try doing a mulled wine thing with it in the future. But cheers to that. But today's video is actually going to be the very first DIY video that I've ever made on this channel. I'm really excited about it because it's something that I've recently really gotten into. During the start of everything that was going on in the world, I took to watching a lot of DIY videos on YouTube, and it's been very soothing for me, and it's really helped me take my mind off of the situation. And I realized that the DIY community is just so far reaching. Like, I didn't realize how big the DIY community was here. I'm really interested in entering it a little bit, especially because it's been really nice for me to get to know this world now, because it's so, whenever I watch these DIY videos, but these DIY videos, it takes my mind off of what's going on in the world and puts my focus onto something productive, which is learning about ingredients, which is learning how to make something that is going to be useful. Whether it's going to be really beneficial for your skin, will aid you in taking a nice relaxing bath, really de-stresses my anxiety, and I'm learning a new skill. So I've been really enjoying doing DIY skincare, especially because over the past year I've been really getting into ingredients and learning about ingredients, and I go through a lot of body care products because I have very temperamental body skin, and it's just been fun to make things. When I was in art school, one of the most valuable things that I learned was the fact that your brain, the parts of the brain that control creativity cannot function at the same time as the parts of the brain that produce and control stress. So if you're creating and you're being creative, it will naturally calm you down, and you cannot be stressed while you are creating. It's something that doesn't happen. You can only have one and not the other. You cannot have both. It just doesn't work. So if you're somebody that's struggling with stress and anxiety right now, perhaps getting into the DIY community will be helpful to you as well. So today I'm going to be making bath bombs. It's funny because a couple weeks back I posted my things to do while self-quarantining video. Like a part of that video was I made bath bombs, and a lot of people reached out to me and were just like, how did you manage to make those bath bombs? They're so cute. So I thought this would be a really fun video to make. I'll show you how to make the bath bombs, and it's a good one to do right now because you can buy the materials at your local grocery store. It's really simple and fun to make, and when you're done, you can take a really relaxing, soothing bath. Plus, it makes a great gift. If you're somebody that's not really into, maybe you're just watching this just because you think that it will be relaxing for you to watch a DIY video, but you don't have the time or patience to do this yourself, I will have some of these bath bombs available on my Poshmark shop, and I hope to have an Etsy shop up by the time this video goes up. So you can purchase the bath bombs off of there. They're also really fun. It's a fun skill to have in case you ever wanted to make a gift for somebody, whether it's for the holidays or their birthday or for a baby shower. This actually make a really lovely party favor, and it's extra special when you make it yourself. But if you don't have the time or patience to do this yourself, you could always purchase it from my shop. The links will be down below if you're interested. But without further ado, let's go ahead and make some lavender bath bombs. I've got some Epsom salts here. I've got my citric acid, my different ingredients, and let's go ahead and get into it. Let's make some bath bombs. Okay friends, so before we can start making our bath bombs, we have to talk about a little bit about some of the ingredients we're gonna need. It's right in front of me. I think just about everything I got here I got at Ralph's. Let's see, this bag of citric acid I got at Indira Imports. This bag of citric acid that's almost all gone that I'm gonna use up today is from Super King. But I got some cornstarch here that I got at Ralph's, baking soda, food coloring, a little bit of lavender flakes. My carrier oil, I'm going to use rosehip. I believe I got this at like a little beauty supply store, discount beauty supply store in my neighborhood. But any moisturizing oil will do. I do believe similar stuff like this, these moisturizing oils, you can find at Whole Foods. I haven't decided if I want to incorporate this into this video, but you could add a little bit of essential oils to it too. But I don't think I will because my Epsom salts already are scented with lavender, so I don't think I'm going to be doing that. When they're done, oh, I also have some measuring cups in here, measuring spoons, a whisk, my bath bomb molds. These I got at Michael's. You can order them online, or I don't know if there's Michael's open near you, but you can for sure get them online, or you can mold them with your hands. Oh, and I got a spray bottle of water right here, and I think that's everything that we need. If you mold them with your hands, if you don't have bath bomb molds, the bath bomb molds will make your bath bomb look like this. You can also mold them with your hands, so they kind of look more like a snowball than like a perfectly round ball, but it still works. It's still nice and fizzy and cute for your bath. So yeah, so those are the ingredients, and let's go ahead and start putting it all together. Okay, so over here I have just like a regular plastic Tupperware, like BPA free, that I'm gonna use as my container to mix all my dry ingredients with. So the first step you have to do is combine all your dry ingredients. So I'm going to start with my Epsom salts, and we'll start with adding half a cup of Epsom salts, a full cup of baking soda. So I have this brand new box here, so next step is a full cup of baking soda. So now we need a half a cup of cornstarch. And now I'm gonna do a half a cup of citric acid. So I'm gonna use up whatever's left in this like destroyed bag I've got here. And this citric acid I got from a grocery store called Super King. This was in their items by bulk that they sell. So if you have a grocery store near you that sells items in bulk or sells items for canning your own fruit, they will likely have citric acid. So that wasn't quite enough of a cup, but let me go ahead and add a little bit of this stuff. Ooh, the citric acid is like a different consistency, which is interesting. It's a little bit thicker granules. It will still work. It will the function of the citric acid is that it makes the bath bombs fizz, so that's what makes them so fun. Okay, so now I'm going to combine all these ingredients with my whisk. And now I'm going to add my coloring. So I want these to be lavender bath bombs. I'm going to be using some dried lavender in this concoction later, so I'd like my bath bombs to be purple. I tried to do this yesterday, but I ran into a number of issues, including I don't have purple coloring, so I tried to combine red and blue to make purple, and it seems like I have a little bit too much red and not enough blue. So this time I'm going to do mostly blue, and just a little bit of red to get it to be purple. I actually like it to be kind of like a midnight purple look, so if it's mostly blue, that's a good thing. I'm actually gonna put like a generous amount of the blue because the blue doesn't register as nicely as the red. So I'm just combining all that. I am at this point gonna add my moisturizing oil, my rosehip oil. This blend is a rosehip oil, but it's actually got quite a bit of sweet almond oil in it too, which are two oils I really enjoy for the skin. I feel like they're very moisturizing and luxurious. I'm gonna add about a tablespoon, half a tablespoon at a time. So as I'm mixing it, I'm gonna add more of the oil later on. Oops, that might be actually too much. I'll go ahead and add a little bit more of the oil. It's actually was supposed to be 2 teaspoons instead of 2 tablespoons, so I'll just do 1 tablespoon. You can have a little bit more oil. It's just that the more oil you load into the recipe, the less likely it is to float. And honestly, there's no way to really guarantee that your bath bombs will float. It's just kind of luck. You can try to make it like a light formula, a fluffy light formula. Try not to pack the bath bomb too tightly into its mold before you press it together. But in the end, it's just luck that gets it to float or not. But I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna try to get it right. It seems like finally the color is registering into the mixture a little bit. So I think that actually is going to be enough blue. That's good. So I'm going to add a couple drops of the red at this point too. Not nearly as much of the red as the blue, because I want it to be like a midnight blue kind of color. And in the end, the food coloring is optional. You don't need to add it. It just, I don't know, I want it to be colorful and cute. And something that's going to release the colors a little bit more is when you start adding the water. Okay, so now I'm going to start slowly adding my water, and I have it in a spray bottle here, so I'm just going to be introducing the water a little bit at a time. You don't want to introduce too much water too fast because you don't want there to be too much water in the formula first of all, because it's going to activate the citric acid too much. But when you add it a little bit of the time, you preserve as much of the citric acid as possible from getting activated. So add a little bit of the at a time until you start to get a wet sand consistency in your mixture. So I'm just going to spray the top, mix, and you'll probably notice that as I add water, the colors start releasing too. Oh, and for the record, I've washed my hands and I've sanitized the whole station. I washed everything before I started this whole process, so cleanliness is key, especially in today's day and age. Almost ready. It's like it's starting to like hold its shape when I squeeze it, but I think I'm gonna add a little bit more. And you don't want to get it to be too wet because you'll activate the citric acid and then your bath bomb mixture will expand too much and it won't be able to retain its beautiful ball-like shape. So do maybe a couple more spritzes. Really get in the corners too. Starting to look a little bit purple, but it's not getting purple fast enough. So I'm going to add a couple more drops of my red food coloring to get it to be a little bit more midnight blue purple. Okay, so I think we're just about ready to start molding our mixture into our bath bombs. I'm really happy with the color. It's like a really lovely, like light purple. Perfect for a lavender themed bath bomb. The texture is pretty good. Like it's like wet sand, but it's a little bit on the drier side, which is important because that's gonna make your mixture lighter. And therefore more likely to float. And yeah, let's go ahead and start. And like when you squeeze it, it does hold its shape a little bit, so that's actually key. Does it start holding its shape is really important. Let's go ahead and start combining our ingredients. I'm gonna go ahead and start with one of the medium ones, and this one I'm just going to pack, just to show you how I pack them. So generously put some into one side, but like loosely. You might be tempted to press it in, but don't do that because that's gonna make it harder for the mixture to release from the mold, and less likely, it will make it less likely to float as well. Loosely pile it in there, but like make it a heaping pile. And then you combine them, squeeze them. I probably should have packed a little bit more in there actually. That's why the first one is a test. See? And it releases right out. Sometimes the molds make like a little bit of a line in the middle, so I kind of like to manipulate it a little bit so it's nice and smooth on the sides. But that is our first bath bomb. I'm gonna go ahead and put that off to the side. For the second one, I'm gonna do something cute, and I'm gonna take my dried lavender and I'm gonna put it at the bottom of each side, just like as like a decorative garnish. And it's okay if some of it gets into the mixture. So I'll put a little lavender at the end of each mold and pile it in. Isn't it so cute how it's got the lavender at the top there? It looks professional. Squeeze down the edges. I'm gonna give it a little bit of a squeeze to help it stay together because I can tell that it's a little bit coming apart in the middle there. Okay, so let's try the large mold. So I'm gonna put some lavender at the bottom of each mold. This one I'm gonna pack in a little bit to help it maintain its integrity because it's a larger bath bomb, it's gonna be harder for it to stay together while also remaining fluffy, light. So it releases from the molds well. Make sure you're heaping it in there. Isn't that beautiful? So cute. There we go. That is a perfect looking bath bomb. Came apart a little bit, but that is what we're going for. Okay, there's a little bit of lavender in my mixture now, but that's okay. I actually like that because it will release in the bath and it'll be really nice and relaxing. Okay, now I'm going to try to make as many of the small bath bombs as I can. Give the rest of my mixture a little bit of a shake. Get it off the sides. And of course, the helicopters have to be all over my grill right now. Okay, this one I'm going to pack in a little bit and then add the heaping bath bomb on top, just because some of my earlier attempts, helicopters, just because the integrator was having a hard time staying together, I'm going to pack it in a little bit, but not too much. So you still want it to be easy for it to come out of the mold. Heaping before you combine it. For the last one, I'm not gonna put lavenders in the tops or the sides. I'm just gonna use up the rest of the mixture and try to get one more out of the mixture. There might not be enough for one more actually. Okay, so I got a little cut off there, so how much footage we missed. But I think I've got about enough mixture for one more bath bomb in this one. In the recipe I showed earlier, I didn't add any essential oils just because essential oils irritate my skin, and I'd like to, and these Epsom salts already have some essential oil in them and some fragrance in them, so there was no need to add a little bit extra. But at this point you could add a little bit of essential oil. I'm just gonna give it like the tiniest drop. Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna combine that with my whisk. And just so I know that this is the one with the essential oil, I won't put the lavender in the molds but there's some dried lavender in the mixture, so that's fine. For this last one, to help it with the integrity, I will press in the mixture a little bit into the mold and then add a heaping amount on top. Still a little bit sparse. Maybe I'll combine it with my hands at the end. I will give it a little bit of a squeeze just because I know that this one's got a little bit less stuff in it. So hopefully the squeeze will keep it together. I like the squeezed look. It just kind of makes it look a little bit more homemade. I wonder if giving a spritz will keep it together a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to dump out the rest of my mixture here, and I'm going to use this container to store my bath bombs while they're drying. So I'm going to carefully put them all in here, and I'm going to put this container in the fridge overnight. I don't know what it is about the fridge, but they maintain their integrity. They dry better. They work better if you put them in the fridge. They're less likely to fall apart. I'm giving them a little bit of a spritz at the end just to adhere them a little bit better, and then I'm going to pop them in the fridge, and tomorrow we'll have dried bath bombs that will be ready to go. And that is it. So that is it, friends. That is how you make bath bombs, or that's how I have made my bath bombs. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope this was one of those DIY videos that is soothing to watch, because that's how I got into DIY community. So I hope you enjoyed and got something out of this, whether it is taking your mind off of the world right now or just giving you inspiration, something worthwhile to do. And perhaps now you have a nice bath bomb you can enjoy and take a bath with later and really relax and let your mind slow down. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the parts of the brain that function and use creativity cannot function at the same time as the parts of the brain that create stress. So if you're creating and you're being creative, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but it's like impossible to feel stressed and be creative at the same time. So instead of feeling stressed, be creative. Let me know down in the comments below if you try this recipe at all, or if you're interested in trying it, or what other kind of DIY creations you'd like to see me do. I think I'm really interested in showing you this really effective body scrub that I've made. I think the recipe is awesome, and it's another thing you can make from scratch. I think that would be really exciting to do. But if there's anything else you'd like to see me do, leave your comments down below. And thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me. I really enjoyed hanging out with you. Until next time, bye!